Hello and welcome to the Golden Sun The Lost Age Let's Play. This is a continuation of sorts from my previous Golden Sun Let's Play, so without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. Now, we want to start a new game, so let's pick that. And right from the start we can see that something is different. We're not actually playing as Isaac, but we're starting off as Felix. And even though he has been called Felix in the first game and has a whole history of being called that, we can actually go ahead and change his name from this point onward. And that's not all actually. If you go ahead and press the select button 3 times here, if you hear that small ding, that basically means that you got it right. But if you do that and click N, you can go ahead and change the name of the characters that you'll be playing in this game. So we can change the name of Jenna, Sheba, and, minor spoiler upcoming, the new character Pierce. And also, we can also change the name of the characters from the last game, that is to say the previous party members, Isaac, Garrett, Ivan, and Mia. Now, in order to do that, all you have to do is, while you're looking at the Pierce name screen, press up, down, left, right, up, right, down, right, left, sorry, up, and select. And if you hear that small ding again, that basically means that you got it right. Now, you won't get to change their names right away, but you'll see it in a moment. Now, do we want to transfer data from Golden Sun? This is actually very important. You want to make sure that you get a proper save file from the last game in order to get access to everything that this game has to offer, so yes. And there are 2 ways to do that. We can either use the cable link to transfer data between 2 Game Boy Advances. Unfortunately, that is not within my means, so we're going to go ahead and go with the password. Now, this is where things get slightly annoying. We have 3 different levels of password. First off, we have the bronze password. This one will basically transfer over the levels and gene of the previous party members. The silver one will do what I just mentioned, as well as transferring over the character stats, that is to say, if you were to use any stat boosting items, such as the apples, cookies, and bread, that will transfer over. And finally, we have the gold level password. This will transfer over everything I already mentioned, plus the number of coins, which I'd say is actually not that important by the time that the previous party joins you, and the items. Now, this is actually the important part. The items not only means your weapons and armor, but also any key items that when equipped would bestow you any new synergies, such as the Force Orb or the Shadow or the Cloak Ball, for example. If you don't have this, if you don't transfer over a save file with a gold password, you will not be able to access everything that this game has to offer. So basically it would be an incomplete experience. You can still have fun with it, of course, but I highly recommend that you go ahead and transfer a save data. So, unfortunately, the save data for the gold password is actually quite long. So I'm going to, as soon as I click gold, I'm going to speed up the footage and I'll leave you guys with the password screen music. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, so, yeah. We can change Isaac's name if we want. In this case, I'm not going to do it, but... And before you're allowed to change the other character's name, you actually get to see your party. So you can make sure that everything is in order. You can see their levels. And for some reason, as you may be... all their Jinn are all shuffled over. So, at least in my case, they each had 7 of their appropriate elements, but here they're all mixed up. But other than that, everything should be in order. Unfortunately, I believe that you're not allowed to check for their inventories, so you can't see them. Anyways, now we're done with Isaac. We have Garrett, Ivan, and Mia, and now with that we are finished. So now let's start the game proper. Ages ago, or so the stories tell, the power of alchemy ruled over the world of Weird. Alchemy wrought the base element of humanity into thriving civilizations, like lead into gold. But in time, man's dreams gave birth to untold strife. Dreams of endless riches, of eternal life, of dominion over all that lived. Dreams of conquest and of war. These dreams would have torn the world apart, if not for a few brave and wise men, who sealed away the power of alchemy deep in Mount Aleph Sulk Center. Prologue from Book 1. The town of Bale guarded the secret for many years, until Isaac and Jenna, whose parents died in a storm 3 years before, disturbed the sanctum. Saturos and Menardi, of the Mars clan, followed them into the sanctum. With them traveled Jenna's brother, Felix, thought lost in that same tragic storm. Saturos and Menardi stole the elemental stars, the keys to breaking the seal of the power of alchemy, and kidnapped Jenna and the scholar, Creighton. If these 4 jewels were used to fire the elemental lighthouses, the seal on alchemy would be broken. Isaac and Garrett set out to stop Saturos, rescue their friends, and return the elemental stars to their home in Sol Sanctum. They banded together with a young winged adept named Ivan and pursued Saturos and Menardi to Emil, a winterlocked town near Mercury Lighthouse. There, they met the guardian of the lighthouse, a water adept named Mia. With her, they pursued Saturos to the eerie, high atop Mercury Lighthouse. Isaac was too late to stop Saturos from lighting the beacon and escaping. Again, Isaac chased him, crossing Angara to the shores of the Caragol Sea. Taking passage on a travel ship, Isaac crossed the Caragol to Tolby. He spoke with Tolby's leader, a strange man named Bobby. Bobby entered Isaac in Colosso as a test of his powers. Isaac's synergy won Colosso and earned him Bobby's trust. Bobby revealed a great secret to Isaac. Thanks to a mystic draught from the lost land of Lemuria, Bobby had lived for 150 years. He offered to help Isaac, who then headed deep into Gondowan. In the town of Lalibero, Isaac learned that Saturos and Menardi had kidnapped a young girl named Sheba, whom they needed within the lighthouse. Isaac fought and defeated them atop the lighthouse, but he was too late. The beacon had been lit. A great cataclysm followed. Sheba fell into the sea. Felix jumped in to save her, but both were lost in the roiling waves. Jenna left the lighthouse to find them, but to no avail. Isaac went to Lalibero, where Bobby asked him to find Lemuria and the remaining lighthouses. He gave Isaac a Lemurian ship to make the journey for the Lost Land. This chapter of our story begins with Jenna, just before the beacon on Venus Lighthouse is lit. Are you sure we should be living like this? Once we go down those stairs, we cannot get back into the lighthouse. Maybe I should have stopped my brother. Jenna, is something troubling you? What is it? What's wrong? I have a bad feeling. Like something terrible is going to happen. How unlike you, Jenna. Surprised to see me? Alex, were you listening? Where's Felix? Why isn't he here with you? My brother? He left us. What can Felix possibly be thinking? He was worried about Sheba. He went to check on her. He was supposed to be leading you out of here. I thought you would have been far from this lighthouse by now. Why are you still here? We tried to stop Felix from going back up to the Eyrie. How like him. Once Felix gets an idea into his head, he rarely changes his mind. Alex, what were you talking about just now? What do you mean when you said, how unlike you? I was merely surprised to hear you expressing such concern, Jenna. Nevertheless, I am impressed Felix went back. Don't change the subject, Alex. What did you mean? Are you saying that I'm insensitive? If that is what you heard, then I must have misspoken. Please accept my apologies. Well, Jenna, I think Alex has said his piece on the matter. I'm not sure he has, Creighton. Who do you think you are, talking to me like that? I retract my statement, my dear. Forget all about it, Jenna. So tell me about this feeling. I'm not sure we should be leaving Venus Lighthouse yet. What are you saying? You can't really mean to remain here. Alex is right. It is far too dangerous, Jenna. We will only hinder the others. The others? Did Isaac follow us to the lighthouse? It would seem so. He must be trying to stop Saturas and Menardi. If my brother goes back and finds Isaac, they're going to end up fighting. If the Venus Lighthouse has not yet been lit, yes, they will fight. Felix is a terribly rash young man, is he not? Why are boys such fools? He may be rash, but Felix is no fool. His good qualities outweigh his bad. That's why I think Isaac would understand if we just talk to him. Why didn't I think of this before now? Please, can we go back up and talk to Isaac? I'm afraid that's not possible. Alex, why? He's an enemy. Isaac? An enemy? Our methods may differ, but you and I ultimately want the same thing. To light the elemental lighthouses. Isaac and his friends would prevent this from happening. So that makes them enemies? But fear not, they will not be able to defeat Saturos and Menardi. So, Felix went back to the top of the lighthouse? Why do you seem so pleased, Alex? Why shouldn't I be? After all, the lighthouse will soon shine brightly once again. Alex, why do you want to see the beacon lit so badly? Oh, so it is my turn to answer questions, is it? Once, alchemy was commonplace throughout this world. With its power, mankind worked wonders across the land. The lost age of man. I want to see the world restored once again. And what, Alex? We've spoken long enough already. Let us continue this another time. We should leave the lighthouse now, before the beacon is fired. I concur. Let's meet at the location we agreed on and wait for Felix. Alright, Kraden, let's go. Alright, so we are finally in control, and unfortunately we cannot go back up and meet Felix even if we wanted to. So, luckily for us, there are no random encounters in Venus Lighthouse at this moment, because if there were, well, we'd be pretty much screwed since we're only at level 5. Now, there is one thing that we can pick up here before we go, so just go through this small platform puzzle, if you can call that, and we have a chest. Now, supposedly this is the very same chest that used to hold the carry stone. However, even though it is apparently empty, we did manage to get a herb out of it. So, it was kind of worth it, I would say. Alright, now that we have absolutely no reason to stay here. And since we do not have the retreat synergy, we'll just have to walk. Alright. There they are! Get them! Yorem sent us to stand guard here, but I never thought we would actually run into them. Scoundrels! What have you done with Sheba? Return her now, or you're really going to regret it. Aren't there supposed to be more of them? Huh. Maybe they're just the first ones to come out. Great! That means we got them outnumbered. We can probably take them, you think? Go fetch the other Tolby soldiers still stationed in La Libero. Yes, sir! And we'll go tell the guys in the caves. Got it, boss. How unfortunate. It looks like an ambush. What should we do, Jenna? What do you mean? Look around. We'll have to fight them. Are you serious? Jenna, are you really prepared to fight this man? We don't have any other choice. We have to. Well then, allow me to shoulder some of your burden. Burden? We regroup along the road leading away from La Libero. Do you understand? Yes. You don't need to remind us, Alex. We know the place. Pay close attention to what Kraden just says. just said. We don't need Alex to remind us. And yet he does it anyways. Follow this road west, and take the path down through the canyon to the cave. On the other side of that cave, you will find a small peninsula called Idejima. We meet there. Thankfully, only those workmen block your route. Unfortunately, they don't look too tough. Hello, we can hear you! That's just plain rude. Why don't the two of you escape and leave the Tolby soldiers to me? The two of us, alone? You can use synergy, can't you, Jenna? Yes. Then you'll be fine. We shall reconvene at the peninsula. You think you can take on Tolby's finest on your own, little man? I do not wish to inflict unnecessary bloodshed. Don't wish to? What is that supposed to mean? If you lay a hand on these two, I assure you that you will be made to regret it. By advancing, I assume you mean to fight. Permit me to strike the first blow. What was that? I don't know, but whatever he did, it's out of our league. You guys deal with him until backup arrives. Oh, so you're next. Hey, no need to worry about us. We're not soldiers, we're not anybody. Seriously, there's no way we're gonna face off against you. Let's get out of here! How undignified, and how shameful. Jenna, now is your chance. Go to Idejima and wait for me. I'm not finished with you yet. You mentioned backup from La Libero. Let's go meet them together, shall we? Hey pal, when they get here, you'll really be in for it. Do you honestly believe that even 100 of you could stop me? How amusing. This I must see. They're gone. Come on, Jenna, let's be going. There's nothing standing in our way now. But what is it now? Ah, you're worried about hurting any innocents? Kinda? Well, just try to hold back when you're fighting. Let's get going, to the peninsula. Yeah, pretty much, because from the point of view of the people of La Libero and Tolby, we're the villains here. But anyways. Why do I gotta be the one to wait for backup? Yeah, please, just let me go and... Hey! That scary guy with the blue hair is not with you. Great, now you'll see what I'm really made of. Alright, so here we have our very first taste of combat. Before I go into more detail about this enemy here, I actually want to quickly go over the battle commands. First off, we have the attack command. This is the basic attack that deals non-elemental damage. Occasionally you may deal some more damage via a critical hit. There's actually a bit more to say about the attack command, but I'll go into that at a later time. Up next we have the synergy command. These are basically like your spells, let's call them. And as you can see here, right now we have two spells available. We have their names, we have their synergy point cost, or their MP cost, if you want to call them that, and the icon right there, right next to the number, that actually represents the element. In this case, since we have a red icon that represents Mars, the element of fire. And right next to that icon we have the range icon. In this case, what this means, for example, is that Fume is a single target synergy, whereas Flare is a multi-target synergy, in this case with a range of 3. Synergies usually deal elemental damage. Alright, up next we have the item command, pretty self-explanatory. One thing to keep in mind though is that, especially when you're dealing with a party of more than one character, is that there is no universal inventory, meaning pretty much that every single character has its own unique inventory. So for example, if you want to make sure that every single character has access to healing items, you want to spread them out evenly. Alright, up next we have the defend command. Basically, in exchange for not taking any further action that turn, any damage that you may take is cut in half. And there is one more command that is not available to us at this point because we're at the prologue, but it is the flee command. Basically, if you have a higher agility rating, or if your party is simply stronger than the enemy, you can escape from combat, but of course you do not get any EXP or items or coins. Alright, quickly on to the stats. So, hit points, pretty self-explanatory. Once they reach 0 you're out. Synergy points are your magic points. Attack, the higher value your attack is, the more damage you deal. Defense, the higher value that is, the less damage you take. Attack and defense are usually used in conjunction when calculating non-elemental damage. Agility dictates the order in which characters and enemies attack, and if you're faster than your enemy, you may be able to run away from combat. Then we have the luck stat, that is tied entirely to the affliction of status effects. So, the higher an enemy's luck is, the less likely that enemy is to be inflicted by status conditions. The same applies of course to your party members, and if either you or an enemy has a luck stat of 40 or above, you're pretty much immune to status conditions. Alright, on to the elemental stats. So in order to calculate elemental damage, we have to take into account the power and resistance, which is divided in the 4 elements. For example, Venus is the element of Earth, therefore your Venus power will be like your Earth-based attack, and your Venus resistance is your Earth-based defense. Then, Mars is the element of fire, as I mentioned previously, so the same applies. Jupiter is the element of wind, and finally Mercury is the element of water. Alright, on to the new enemy. This one here is a Ruffian. It is level 3, it has 29 hit points, no synergy at all, 24 attack, 6 defense, 11 agility, and 3 luck. He has no elemental power whatsoever, and he has an elemental resistance of 100 for all the elements. He yields 5 experience points when defeated, and he drops 5 coins. There is a 1 in 16 chances that he will drop a herb, and the only command that he has is the basic attack command, which every single enemy in the game has, by the way. So, since it's only one enemy, let's go ahead and use Fume. And there we go. And we got a herb, how lucky. Let's see what he has to say. I cannot believe I got bitten by a girl. Alright. So we're instantly taken to the Suala gate. Let's continue all the way up. Wow, it's them! Whoa there, where did the blue-haired guy go? Who cares? I can handle some girl and her grandpa. And we have yet another ruffian. So, let's see if we can get a critical. Nope. One more time. No, luckily they are fairly weak. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have underestimated her. Yeah, so since Alex is not with us, everybody thinks we're wimps. Luckily that's not the case. So we're supposed to go down here, but if we go this way... Not that way, Jenna. The meeting spot is down this way. We must climb down here and go into the cave. We're not allowed. Alright, down this cave. Ha! That was a good idea, waiting here for them. You two aren't going anywhere. Except with us, back to Master Yoram. Alright, and we have multiple enemies. In this case we have 3 ruffians. So I figured this is a good opportunity to showcase the flare synergy. And one more thing, as you can see here, the ruffian in the middle, ruffian number 2, has a higher icon above him. That is because most multi-target synergies, especially those that deal damage, don't spread the damage evenly, meaning that in this case Ruffian number 2 would take more damage, as you're going to see. 14, 15, 14. Yeah, not much of a difference, but still a little bit more damage. So, as I was saying, the icon in the middle basically means that that particular character would take the full brunt of the attack, so 100%, while the smaller icons on the left and right usually means that they will take about 80%. Now, we have synergies that have even wider ranges, such as 5 or 7, and for those cases, the ones that are in the damage keeps splitting, so it goes from 100 to like 80% to then 50. So one more flare should do it. Alright, only one more. And also, this is also the very last Ruffian in the game. From this point onward, we will never be able to encounter them in combat, either randomly or via a scripted battle, so goodbye. Look at that, we got a critical. And we got a herb. Alright, so we managed to successfully escape Venus Lighthouse, and we're on our way to meet up with Alex at Idejima, and we vanquished the last of the Ruffians. So I think that is enough for now. Next time we're going to meet up with Alex at Idejima and see where we go from there. See you guys